Hey y'all, welcome to Musical Miles Podcast, where live music and great stories take center stage. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Teton Guitars. Whether you're picking tunes around a campfire or taking the stage at your favorite honky-tonk, Teton Guitars delivers rich, soulful sound built for the journey. Learn more at tetonguitars.com. Now let's dive into some music and memories. Hey, music lovers, welcome to Musical Miles Podcast. I'm your host, Byron Duffin, and I am here with Due West.
Hey. Hello.
Welcome, gentlemen.
What a pleasure to be on your podcast with so many legends that you've historically...
Well, we've just been really lucky, and we've only been doing this podcast 1 year.
Wow.
We started, in fact, Tuesday was our 1 year anniversary, and we had interviewed 120 artists or 120 interviews. We featured some venues, like in Green Hall in New Braunfels, Texas. I love that place.
Spell green.
Green.
Yeah.
I've been there multiple times.
We want to. That's on our bucket list.
Have you never been to it?
I've never been to it or played it.
Oh, it is such a cool place.
Yeah,
you don't want to
get us a gig there.
You got it.
Yeah.
I did interview one of the managers, but they don't do the artists.
They don't book.
But Lyle's played there a lot, a ton, and
do people love it?
Oh, people loved it
when he does.
We also saw, who'd we see there? We saw Cody Canada and The Departed, and then we saw.
Wasn't he in Canadian Cross
Country? Well, he was
he was. That's him.
Yeah. So we've interviewed him. He was one of our early ones, like a year ago, at the Braun Brothers reunion, which is coming up here in Chalice in a couple weeks.
Wow.
So they have some great people coming to Chalice. They do every year. It's gone on for 40 years.
Jeez.
And but we're honored to have you guys. We talked about all those other guys off camera, but this is about Due West, and so I want to introduce everybody. So we got Tim Gates originally from Richfield, Utah.
Yeah.
And then we've got Matt Lopez, originally from Wolf, Wyoming.
Sheridan County.
We just
base of the Bighorns is beautiful.
Beautiful place. Love that place. Yeah. And Brad Hull.
Hull's good.
Thatcher, Arizona.
That's
and
right.
we talked about that. I did a little time down there. Might as well have been in the county jail, but I wasn't. But
Gateway to Safford, as they say.
It is the gateway to Safford. And that's the home of EA, Eastern Arizona College, which is...
the Gila Monsters.
The Gila Monsters. And they call that little BYU.
You're right.
Yeah, because all the Mormon kids... And all the kids from Mexico from the colonies would come up and go to school there. So anyway, but all from... but you all ended up in Nashville about the same time. How'd that happen? What was your experience getting there, Brad?
I came out there to go to school at Belmont University to study music business. And so that's kind of what brought me there. Matt had spent a little... Well, I'll let him tell the story.
I went out there originally in 98, so even before Brad was born. And
thank you.
But I got out there just chasing the dream, and then Brad then I actually left, went to Arizona, met Brad. Brad was like, I'm going to Nashville.
Met him in Arizona.
Yes, met him in Arizona. Yep, and then and he left to go to college, and then I moved back out there, and then
I scoped things out in Nashville in 99, but I didn't move there till 2001.
Okay.
And I met these guys at a house party in 2003.
2003?
Yeah, and that was Dan Truman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Invited you guys, but you didn't know each other yet.
No.
So did Dan invite each of you individually, or?
Well, yeah, Dan and we had lunch with him.
Okay.
I went and had lunch with him because I'd met him years ago and wanted to get to know him. I just moved there, wanted to get to know the business, so I had lunch with him and I bought lunch and everything. It was nice.
and he let you.
But anyway, he says, there's a party down at my sister's house tonight. You need to go. There's some great songwriters. You mentioned a guy named Lopez and
that's me.
A few other guys.
Yeah.
And then I got there and brought my wife and played some music and ended up meeting these guys there. It was awesome.
Bobby Pinson.
Yeah, Bobby Pinson.
He was there that night.
I know of Bobby. Yeah. I haven't met him.
Wrote some big Toby songs and stuff. Who else was there that night? We don't talk about that much, but I think Bobby might have been the one that went on to do the biggest, besides us, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we met, and it was just a party where we went up in their bonus room, and everybody sat in a big circle, and everyone there essentially was playing music and, you know, sharing songs that they'd written or playing covers, whatever. And it'd get around to Tim, and Brad and I'd jump in on harmony with him. And man, I don't remember what the very first song was that he sang. Whatever it was, we jumped in, kind of like we did a second ago when he started singing Lean on Me. But and then as the night would go on and it'd get back around to Tim, he'd do another one. And I think it was a combination of our voices obviously blending, but the songs he was picking were resonating with us. And we could just tell, man, this guy, he was raised on the same country as, because he was doing Sawyer Brown, he was doing Restless Heart, Shenandoah.
I didn't dare sing my original stuff. I was too nervous.
Yeah.
Well,
you did. You sang Rock in My Pocket.
Rock in My Pocket, yeah.
Oh, did you?
He sang I got a rock in my pocket, and tonight I'm going to give it to you.
I don't want to give it to you, yeah. That was my first song I brought to town.
Really?
Yeah.
But then there were people that got there kind of later as the party went on. And some people, you know, as you'll know as you get to know us, we don't quit. We'll sing till the cows come home. And so people were kind of peeling off, and this crowd was thinning and changing and different things. And the three of us ended up kind of sitting closer to each other. And people walked in, and it kind of turned into a little show at that point because no one else was jumping in. So we just kept going. And finally, at the end of the thing, you know, we end, and several people, I remember distinctly several people coming up, man, you guys' band is tight. You guys have obviously been together for a long time. And we're like, cool. Nope, we met about an hour or two ago. And so we've just been singing ever since. Didn't have a name or anything, but he booked us to go play a gig shortly after that.
Really?
I was managing a restaurant, luckily, and had a stage there. So I brought us in every weekend for a steak and ribs or something, maybe $10. I don't know what I paid you, $20 or something.
Yeah, it was
at that point, anything.
I think it was a cheeseburger, because I tried to order a steak and you told me I couldn't have a steak.
He slapped your hand.
No steak. Yeah. No steak for you.
Yeah, it was fun times, man.
Well, yeah, and I had read somewhere that you guys just fit. Your harmonies were just natural fit, and you're all big fans of you know, Diamond Rio, obviously.
Alabama.
Shenandoah and Alabama. Yeah, Alabama, the harmonies.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We got to meet those guys, too. What's been cool is night, you know, playing all these covers, and then since then, in that 20-year journey that we've been on, we've not only met with, but worked with a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
And that's just like Teddy Gentry, you know, hearing him sit there and make a record on us and talk to us about, you know, our harmonies and stuff.
Well, we had the luck of one guy that I didn't mention to you that you probably know too, Roger Murrah.
Oh,
you know Roger.
Yeah.
So I got to interview Roger in Franklin, and Shanda lined that deal out from the Kimbrough, from the Pick and Parlor. Have you guys been to the Pick and Parlor?
No.
Oh my gosh, that's one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. It's an old house fallen down, literally right off the center of Franklin. It's called Kimbrough Pick and Parlor, and we ran into some guys. They said, hey, Tuesday night's open mic. You never know who's going to show up there. They said Winona may come, that Jelly Roll's been there. I mean, it's and this house looks like it's going to fall down, but we got there and sat on the porch and spent the whole night on the porch. Went in a couple of times, but these guys would just show up with their guitars and mandolins, and one guy brought a keyboard, and they just hammered all night long, and we just sat. So I was up videoing some stuff, and Shanda met a guy by the name of Ed McRedman, and he said, what are you doing here? And she said, well, we do a podcast. He said, you need to interview Roger Murrah, this friend of mine, and so we got to. But talking about Alabama, that's what came up in my mind.
Yeah.
But Alabama, he paid me the biggest compliment. He said, Brian, he said, I'm looking at you, and you remind me of Randy Owens.
Yeah, you totally do.
Your eyes do.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I said, that what an honor. And anyway, I just posted that episode Wednesday of Roger on the podcast, and then today we're posting Joe Leathers. You guys know Joe?
Oh yeah.
Joe, who wrote Hemingway's Whiskey with Guy Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, such a cool. We've been so blessed to get to meet some cool people like yourselves. So you took off and started doing weekend shows with Tim, and for cheeseburgers and a Red Bull.
Well, in Nashville, that's big because I mean, it sounds small. Everybody else $20 and a burger, but to have a gig and like that in Nashville is pretty big. So it was a good spot to play, and I mean, a lot of people came in, they'd see us. I mean, for music industry people, labels.
What was the restaurant?
Called the Alabama Grill, owned by Alabama, the band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They were one of the first ever to do that thing that now down on Lower Broadway, everybody's got their own club.
Right.
But they were doing it decades ago.
Sure.
It was a good place to try out new songs, and then we were all writing, and so we'd bring songs together and start working up originals.
Well, we've learned to love the songwriter rounds, the songwriter festivals. That we just love that because it's more intimate. Nothing wrong with the concert. We love to, we've not seen you guys live, but we're going to tonight, so we're really excited about that. But I love a good. Well, our deal's all about live music. That's why we started this, because we have a love of live music, and so But we went to the Listening Room Cafe in Nashville when we were there, and what a cool place that is.
Place, yeah.
We didn't get to go to the Bluebird because they were closed because they'd had some flooding or something, but anyway, so then you guys took off and started singing together, and haven't looked back. It's been 20 plus years, right?
That's right.
Yep.
But so your first debut single was in 2009, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I get that all the time.
Yeah. And that was you guys did your own label so you had. Is that really required?
A label required?
Yeah.
I mean, I think
It's great to have a good team
Yeah.
behind you. Yeah.
Okay.
And you do that with a label brand.
So you guys started the label, but it was your label, right? You was an independent label, and then you had hired some people to kind of help work the label for you. Okay.
Well, what's funny, actually, though, not long after we met playing at the Alabama Grill, we got together with our good friend Jason Deere, another great songwriter, wrote a lot of the Shadazy stuff and some Little Big Town stuff. He's been around for a long time. Great songwriter and producer. He heard us singing. We had barely come up with the name Due West, I think, at that point. And he's like, I want to take you guys around and shop you to get a record deal. We went into Lyric Street. We went into MCA, Warner, walked into RCA, which used to be the big giant castle on the hill. I don't know if you've been there. It's part of Vanderbilt now, or part of Belmont or Vanderbilt. Anyway, huge building, beautiful building. Walked us in there at one of the many stops that we made, and Renee Bell was, I think, head of A&R at that label and offered us a record deal. And that was a cool moment for us because we got our contract on it, basically our offer letter had the little RCA dog with the phono record player.
That's right across the street. Is it still in the same building?
It used to be. No, now that's like part of this university.
So right there on
17th or
well, it's right across the street from Curb Records. RCA, because at my interview as I was editing this morning, or yesterday, it was this morning, my interview with Joe Leathers, we're in that dome in the top is where we did the interview, and RCA's building in the dog is right across the street through the whole interview, so right to our back. So anyway.
So yeah, that was actually our first kind of like, oh my goodness, this is real. And we have pictures of us. We signed the deal and everything. And then I think it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks. We went in and cut sides even with Jason and Luke Wooten, which is Luke's another giant producer in town that's still killing it. But and got all the sides ready, turned them in. They loved the sides. And then we got a phone call that Sony and BMG had merged. And they said, we're dropping about 30 of our roster. And you guys did not make the cut.
Oh my gosh. Timing's everything.
So
that's what in that town.
Yeah, it was a timing thing. Jason Michael Carroll, I think, was on the label at the time. Who else was? Jake Owen, I think, was around that time. There was quite a few things that were coming out, but so we got our first record deal and then lost our first record deal before we even put music out commercially, and that's what then led to us. We said we shopped around some more, and then we said, let's just put music out. We've got this music. Let's just go do it. Right. And then we created what was called Bigger Than Me Records. Was our first indie label. Now a lot of people are doing that. And you ask about what the importance of a label is, and these guys were saying it's like you got to have a team. You got to have people behind you, and it's hard to be the artist and wear the hat as the promoter and the booking agent and publicist, all these things. There's a lot of angles.
Well, as we've done this podcast, we've learned a lot about the music business. We came at this as a fan first and foremost, and still a fan. But we tell everybody that what we hope to do is maybe pull back the curtain a little bit from the music industry, because most people think, you sing the song, you wrote the song, and you do write a lot of your own music. But that being said, you know, a lot of people thought George Strait was writing his music and Dean Dillon was writing that music and has written it for 40 years, 50 years.
Yeah. Well, that whole industry of songwriting is a whole other amazing and unbelievable industry. And Nashville is literally the song city of the whole world.
Right.
It's where the best songwriters in the world.
Well, and they get out of bed every morning and go to work as that's their job.
Not till 10 though.
No, they don't go to 10 and they only work till about 2, right? And so they 4 hours a day, which is not a bad gig.
Take about an hour and a half lunch in the middle of that too.
But they're all looking for, you know, every young artist that shows up in town's looking for a publishing deal, right? They all want to. Well, first of all, they're going to pay them. They're going to get a paycheck, so they know they aren't going to starve to death.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, it's been fun to learn that, you know, and get to meet some of those songwriters. And we've met some incredibly wonderful people that have just treated us just like you guys do. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
it's a great city to be a part of. And honestly, I think just going there and being around the culture for as long as the three of us have it's made us better songwriters. It's made us better performers. It's made us better businessmen, music industry. I heard a funny line the other day. It's hard to make music in the money business.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it becomes at a certain point, you know, where you go there with this, we're creating art.
right.
And then you learn, you know, well, there's a way to make money doing this, and that's the balance, is to try to continue to be true to who you are and make art, create art, which comes from a place that's a different part of the brain than you know, pennies and cents, pennies and dollars or whatever. But I love that phrase. It's hard to make music in the money business, but we've navigated through it. But I think just being in Nashville, so I would say definitely to the young people that are aspiring to create in any capacity or be in the music business at all, go to Nashville. Because you just by default, you absorb so much history and just such a great vibe, and you can learn a lot.
It'll make you better.
You really will.
Oh, there's no question. But to me, it's interesting because there's really almost two sides to the music deal. There's the lower Broadway musicians, right? That they're cover musicians. They're musicians. They can play and sing anything, right? Their catalog's 500 or 600 songs, but they're not. And a lot of those guys, that's what they went to Nashville to do, and they love that, and they can make a living doing it. But they're not trying. And I guess maybe some of them eventually they want to be discovered. Craig Campbell got discovered down Lower Broadway.
That's right. A lot of that isn't trying to they're not trying to have a gig or be discovered. A lot of it is trying to just meet people, meet other players,
build your
network.
Your network. Yeah.
And when you do that in Lower Broadway, it's a big network, and then you have quite a good relationship in town if you can do it.
So did you guys go play Lower Broadway when you got to
Yes.
For all of you? Yeah.
We played Tootsie's. We did the Wild Horse for a long time.
Yeah, that was our steady.
Our mini residency, yeah.
Okay.
It's now Luke Combs' place, Category 10. I think.
His spot.
He bought that big building, and now it's his place.
Mark Slaughter was our
Mark Slaughter of the group.
He was the manager.
Oh, your kid.
Fly to the Angels, if you remember that song.
Yeah.
He was the production manager there.
Backstage at Wild Horse, yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, and a lot of people think that Nashville's just about country music. It's about everything.
That's right.
Right. I mean, they're doing a lot of pop music. They're doing K-pop. They're doing all kinds.
You can find jazz and blues.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've got Kesha and Meghan Trainor and some of these big pop acts
came out of Nashville.
Well, everybody's looking in Nashville for the latest and greatest sound. Even LA comes to Nashville because Nashville's doing the latest and greatest best thing in the studio. So I think people are finally realizing that too, and now prices have gone up in Nashville because everybody's moving there.
Yeah.
Well, they said it's not a cheap place to live. Stephanie Davis, we talked about her. She talked about when she lived out there. Her and her husband moved out there, both musicians. He's a drummer, and she was writing music, and she was typing term papers. And she said, we lived in this shanty, this shack, that when it snowed, she said it would come through the roof, and we'd wake up and it'd be on our blankets. And she said I got paid $1 a page to do term papers for the college kids because they couldn't type. She could, but anyway. It just, you think back and you think at Lainey Wilson lived in her camp trailer there for, I mean,
Dirk Bentley lived on a houseboat for for the first 3-4 years that he lived there.
No kidding.
Down anyhow.
Yeah, Adam Percy Priest.
Yeah. Well, and Dirks used to open for Cross Canadian Ragweed before Dirks became, and then they opened for him once he got famous.
That's in one of his songs, Ragweed on the radio.
Yeah. Great band, great music. Well, so you did your own label and called Bigger Than Me.
Yes.
And you debuted. What was the single you debuted?
That was I Get That All the Time. And then what happened in the middle of that, which was very interesting, the piano player in those recording sessions, he was running a record label, and he liked what he was hearing. And so after that single had kind of run its course, he pulled us aside and said, "I'd like to sign you to this record label," which was Black River.
Black River, yeah.
And then he exited the label a year or so into that, and so we released, I don't know, 2 or 3 singles through that label, and then kept
Did you do your first EP through Black River, or was that, or just some singles?
I want to say that's true. Yeah,
that sounds right.
My first official, I guess, one that was released. Yeah.
I remember sitting in there, we'd go in there, you talk about the songwriting part of it and going in every day. We had publishing deals attached to that record label with Black River, and we'd go in every day and write songs for Due West, yes, but also then there was a whole publishing place that would, pitch the songs to other acts and stuff too. But I remember these young kids would be hanging around in there, and at the time I don't think either one of them had anything going on. They were probably working at Shoney's, but one young kid we'd play your songs and stuff for the publisher, and he was sitting there and he loved him some Due West, and his name's Dylan Scott. We're going to be opening for him at the Eastern Idaho State Fair.
You're coming back to the fair.
Yeah, we did the Blackfoot thing at the end of August. And then this other little blonde girl was hanging around in there a ton, and again, she'd hear us play our songs and everything, and we thought, oh, that's cute. These kids are, aspiring to be.
She'd say she's a writer, and I didn't take her serious.
Yeah. Her name was Kelsey Ballerini.
Oh, my gosh.
So Kelsey, of course, ended up getting on that same label and has stayed on that label. And,
she stayed on the same label.
She's had a little bit of success.
I love her music. Yeah. She's so talented. And
yeah.
Peter Pan's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So then was that first EP, and it was self-titled Due West, was that the one that Bible in the Belt was on?
Yeah. Bible in the Belt.
Yeah. Which one of you wrote that, or was that?
I wrote that one.
You wrote that one.
Yeah.
You got a little criticism over that deal, huh? Think you've been spanking your kids?
Yeah. If we ever got criticism, we never heard it. It seems like
you can find it on the internet.
You can probably find it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people criticize that, but it seems to me when we get to the end of that chorus, we get more cheers in that song than we do a lot of songs, just because it seems like people just can relate to that.
Well, we all kind of grew up in an era where a good butt whooping didn't hurt any of us.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, even being whooped by the Bible, it's not physical whooping,
Mm-hmm.
right? When Mama preaches from that, and you've done something, you tell a lie, and she gets the Bible out, that's pretty bad whooping too.
It's good cop, bad cop. The song's a lot deeper than sometimes the people even think. But
then they give it credit.
The story that Tim tells about that is he had moved out there from Utah, as you mentioned, and then he was giving a buddy a ride home from work, and the guy's like, "Where are you from?" And he said, "I'm from Utah." And the guy, of course, as soon as you say you're from Utah, instantly their mind goes to, Mormons and all this stuff. And the guy goes, "Well, Tim, you need to know something. You're living in the Bible Belt." And Tim looked at him. This is the song of the clever mind of a songwriter. Tim goes, "I've been living between the Bible and the belt my whole life."
Yeah, so I got to write this song.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how that inspiration comes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's great. Well, so, and then in 2011, your next EP was Forget the Miles, right?
That was the same.
It was on the same EP.
Yeah.
So the blue one that he's talking about, the self-titled, was kind of the thing we did on Bigger Than Me.
Had recuts of some of the same songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, because
So it's
anymore with when you go to Spotify and once again, I'm a fan of music, and I'm guilty of thinking, a few years back that everybody wrote their own music, which they didn't.
Sure.
So now that's a big thing for me to go and make sure that I call out the right
Yeah.
songwriter because I've made that mistake before, and
yeah.
that's you look kind of silly, especially if you're doing a podcast.
We're the same way. We look at the credits constantly. We go actually deeper than that.
Right.
We'll hear new music and we're like, who wrote that? Who played on it? Who produced it?
Right.
Who mixed it?
Well,
who
you know,
mastered
interestingly enough, we just watched it yesterday. Muscle Shoals. Have you guys watched that documentary?
So good.
We went to Muscle Shoals and we experienced it. Then we watched it after. It was so amazing.
Oh, you went and worked with Rick Hall and
No, we didn't.
No, we just went down, toured it. Because we had gone. There's a radio
What a
station.
cool story, though.
Yeah.
And people didn't know. And Rick even said in the documentary, you heard him say it, right? We kept this very low key. Mm-hmm. Nobody knew that these guys were here because they needed the break, and they loved to go to Muscle Shoals because everybody left them alone because nobody knew who they were. They didn't know who Mick Jagger was and Ron Woods. Yeah. They didn't know those guys. They didn't
know who Cher was.
No.
You know who was coming
Bob
through.
Seger, on and on and on.
What a list of people. But he said, I screwed myself because for the last 15 to 20 years it's been tough because we didn't get the recognition, and I had no idea.
Sure.
We were at the listening room.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the Muscle Shoals Songwriter Festival, and of course Mac McAnally was kind of came from that area, as well as
Sawyer Brown.
Yeah, Leslie Satcher. Well, she's a Texan, but they were all kind of helping promote that night that we were there. And Shanda, who was the other my producer? I got to count who that wrote on. Yeah, Kent Blasey. Kent Blasey was helping promote that deal that night. We have a friend of ours, a kid named Heath Clark. I don't know if you guys know Heath, from Arizona, from Sholo. Shanda went to high school with his mom. His dad and grandpa and uncle played at our wedding reception.
Wow, small world.
And he was my very first interview on this podcast. Heath was. And he now lives in Nashville, and he just released a new album with 4 cuts from Blasey. He has 4 of Blasey songs on there. Anyway.
It's wild what you're saying, though, about the musicianship, because this is one thing, you talk about, like, nobody knew that Dean Dillon wrote all the George Strait songs. And actually, to really take that a step further, and I know you wanted to talk about Dean in a bit, too, but what's interesting, I've been listening to a lot of old George records, and I've been listening to a lot of Dean records, because he put music out, too.
Oh, yeah. He had a record
George,
deal.
100%, not only, obviously, sang Dean's songs, but his phrasing, his melody sense, kind of a lot of what became George Strait is Dean Dillon. He was emulating Dean's demos and whatnot.
Right.
But
because Dean sang all his own demos.
Right, and would pitch them to George. But and so people don't know that, and yet Dean obviously cashed those checks, right? He got paid. What's interesting about the Muscle Shoals thing, and a lot of, if you go to a studio session in Nashville, things that you hear on a record now that to this day, especially the Muscle Shoals thing, where it's like, that's iconic. That's part of what I know to be that song. That guy got paid that day, period.
That was the end of it. Yeah, he never got he didn't get any royalties for that music. And which is crazy because they played on so many iconic albums.
And made them, hooked them. Like, because the producer would say, we need this intro to be something. And the piano guy would just be like, ring, ding, 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 ding.
And it's
now that's all of a sudden this giant Bob Seger.
And it's woven into the fabric of American history and culture
forever. And
he made $300.
And they had $300.
Yeah, maybe less. Well, back in those days, it could have been $20 or $50. And what I loved, and you noticed as well, in that they talked about, they thought those players were all black.
Right.
I thought they were African American.
Sure.
And they were white as they could be.
Most soulful whiteys there ever were.
Yeah, and what a cool deal. And have you seen the Dean Dillon?
Tennessee Whiskey.
Yeah, Tennessee. We rewatched that again yesterday. Yeah. There's another one out there that we need to watch again. It's called "It All Begins with the Song." I think.
Yes,
that's a great one as well.
Sure.
Yeah, about the songwriters.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that one.
Yeah,
I downloaded that and watched it yet.
Yeah, so there's so much cool information out there, and the deeper we get into the music deal, the deeper we go, and because it's so interesting to us, because we want to hear those backstories to those songs. The song, Hemingway's Whiskey. To have Joe Leathers tell me that story, I envisioned it all because Miss Shanda and I love Key West, and we've been to the Hemingway house, and not everybody knows this, but do you know where Hemingway's buried?
No.
Ketchum, Idaho.
No kidding.
Really? Yeah. He lived in Ketchum. You know why he loved Sun Valley or Ketchum, that area? Because it reminded him of Spain. He was a war correspondent, and he lived in Spain in the 40s, I want to say, 40s or 50s, and he loved, and it reminded him of Spain. So, but that's where he was when he took his life. In fact, we were just at his grave last week.
Oh, wow.
We stopped there. We went through town.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He spent some time in Sheridan, Wyoming, too.
Did he really?
Yeah,
Well, he was a big-time hunter, so he was a big game hunter. He lived in Africa. He hunted in Africa a lot. But 60% of his works were written in Key West. And so, you know, as Joe's telling me this story, how it unfolded, like that's a line, you know, I've lived between the Bible and the bell. He's sitting on this bench, and this old man reaches in his bag and pulls out a bottle of whiskey and offers Joe a drink at 10 o'clock in the morning. And Joe goes, "No, I'm good." And he goes, "Well, you know, that's Tennessee," or he says, "Excuse me, that's Hemingway's whiskey. If it's good enough for Hemingway, it's good enough for you." And Joe said, "My head's about to explode." He said, "I'd get on my scooter and run back to the hotel," because he was there for a songwriter festival. And he said, "I write the first verse and chorus." And then he said, "I get home and I tell Shanda, I always forget who co-wrote it with him. Ray Stevenson. And Ray said, "Stop." He started to play it for him, and Ray put these hands on his strings, and he said, "Stop." He said, "What? I thought it was good." He goes, "No, it's great, but we're going to finish that with Guy Clark." And he goes, "I don't know Guy Clark." And he goes, "I do." Yep. And they set it up, and Guy cut it. And then
Kenny
Chesney cut it. And then you know who else cut it? Who? Christopherson cut it. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. That's pretty bad.
See, those are the stories that we dig for.
It's funny you mentioned Ray Stevenson, because I just was showing him one of my first original demo CDs that I'd put together trying to shop for my first publishing deal. And I think the third or fourth song on that track, one of my very first it was my first Nashville co-write, was Ray Stevenson.
Really? Nice.
And I remember even back then, this was when I was here in 98 that I met Ray Stevenson, and he was already hanging out with Guy Clark, and I remember he was so high on that, and I was like, "Now who's this again?"
Who's Guy Clark?
Yeah.
Guy Clark.
But Ray's gone on to have some he wrote Red River Blue. Which was a big Miranda.
Yeah, and I haven't met him, and so he's great. And I don't know why I always forget his friggin' name. Yeah. I can remember Guy Clark because I'm a big Guy Clark fan.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is, we talked about Lyle. Lyle does "Step Inside This House," "Step Inside the House," and that's according to him. Well, according to Guy, that was the very first song Guy ever wrote, and he never cut it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I love that song. Anyway.
It was in the 20s that Hemingway was...
it was in the 20s when he was
He was an ambulance driver.
In Spain.
He enlisted after being a reporter.
Wow. Look at that. The power of the internet. She's back there Googling.
And that's why we need in-ears, so she can tell me that.
Sure, she can whisper,
but she likes to hide behind the cameras.
Yeah.
She's a great producer.
Yeah.
No offense, but she's much better looking than you.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I'm telling you, we could sell this podcast way easier if I could get her in front of the camera. But all right, let's keep talking about your music, because there's so much. So your highest charting song was "Things You Can't Do in a Car." Did you co-write that together, or
nope?
We weren't allowed to co-write it with you. No,
that was the
all
diva.
They wanted to come in, and I said, Stop.
You know, this is about me.
Yes.
This is about me.
He said stop, and we thought he was going to go get Guy Clark, but he just said, "I've got this one on my own."
I got this one. He wanted all the publishing and all that.
He did.
Yeah.
No, the reason why I wrote that by myself is because I actually was supposed to be downtown at a co-write that day, but I was so broke that I couldn't afford the gas to get down there.
Snack or famine is what it's.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
So I just stayed at the home and wrote.
Yeah.
And your wife was cooking something?
Yeah, she was making enchiladas.
Oh, well, Arizona boy,
Yeah.
if
That's
you're
what
like we are, we eat Mexican food 5 days a week.
That's exactly right.
That's him.
Yeah.
We just call it food.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is food, but
We should play that one. Since it was our highest charting song, let's play
There
it.
you
Can
go.
we play it
That's
for
it.
you? I don't know
That's
if you're ready for a live song.
You know what? I'm ready for a song anytime you want to play us. You want to play us something?
That's
I'd love to hear.
That's a fun one to play.
Yeah.
It's one of my
You remember
favorites.
how it goes?
I think so.
It's in.
In fact, actually, it's apropos because I just sold my Nissan Rogue and bought a used 2005
That's a-
Dodge Ram 2500 quad
Got you a
cab.
big truck.
I got me a big truck. It's older.
So things you can't do in a car.
There's going to be a
you can
lot
do
of
in
fun
that big
things
truck.
that I
Diesel,
cannot do
too.
in a
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Let's sing it, boys. 3, 4.
That handle sticks on the passenger side. She don't mind climbing in on mine, 'cause that's where she rides. I work the clutch, she shifts the gears. We take a one-way unpaved to a place way out of here. Yeah, way out of here. Down a rough road where a car can't go. Up in the hills where you need four-wheel. And down the tailgate, watch her tan legs sway to the rhythm of me strumming on my guitar. Lay back in the bed, lay her head on my chest. It's the million stars. Doing things you can't do, things you can't do. Doing things you can't do in a car. This Saturday, I'm helping Tommy out. Hitch on a ball, we'll be hauling drywall to his mama's house. And later on that night, when the work is done, I got a hot day, can't wait, my baby's getting made up. Yeah, to have a little fun. Down a rough road where a car can't go. Up in the hills where you need four-wheel. And down the tailgate, watch her tan legs sway to the rhythm of me strumming on my guitar. Lay back in the bed, lay her head on my chest against the billion stars. Doing things you can't do, things you can't do. Doing things you can't do in a car.
Like what, Tim Gates?
Hold a boat, move a couch. Hook a chain, drag it out. Hang a gun on the rack. Hot tub in the back. Horsepower and a winch. Have a buddy out the ditch. Have some fun in the mud. Or maybe we could get stuck. Down a rough road where a car can't go. Up in the hills where you need four-wheel. And down the tailgate, watch her tan legs sway to the rhythm of me strumming on my guitar. Lay back in the bed, lay her head on my chest, beneath the billion stars.
There it is.
Doing things you can't do, things you can't do. Doing things you can't do, things you just can't do. And the things you can't do, things you can't do. Doing things you can't do in a car. Woo!
Oh, thank you so much. That is such a cool song. And you know what's cool to me is that you guys been doing that for, what, 13 years, 14 years, and you just had just as much fun right there as you did the first
We
time.
did.
Well, if you talk about peeling back the curtain, I'm going to tell you a little secret
I want to
that
know.
just happened just now. So, and probably I jinxed it by saying, "Do we know this song?" Tim, on the first two choruses,
I said against.
there was a word that he couldn't figure out, and so I fed it to him for the third chorus. And I don't even think Matt noticed. He just says, "Oh,
I
there
just
he
kept
is." He
thinking
got it.
about against the sky, and I'm like, maybe it's something else, but it's like against is gonna work because that's all I could think of.
That's the only word he could come up with.
Oh, you know what? But see that shows how talented you all are, because literally no one would know that but you. Even Matt didn't notice.
Like,
No,
Yes,
I didn't notice that he fed him the lyric at the end. I did notice that each
So what's
time.
the word?
Beneath a billion.
Not against.
And it's alliteration. Again, it's the brilliant songwriting.
It's so brilliant. I just messed
Beneath
it up.
the Billion Stars. That's that BB. Beneath the Billion Stars.
Billion Stars, yeah.
I was thinking about something else, and I came up with against, and then I couldn't remember the real word.
But we know each other so well that we could do those things that we figured out.
But I loved it because you guys, I saw the little twinkle in your eyes. So I didn't know. I just thought you were having a great time, but something else was going on.
We do that too. We have fun.
It does make it a lot of fun because when you're playing songs that you've played 1,000 times, sometimes when something throws it off a little bit, it makes it actually fun and different for us and keeps us on our toes. So.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, then on a different note too, sometimes on the stage, I think, and maybe this happened to all of us, but we're singing and then all of a sudden the song's over. You're like, did I just sing that song?
Yeah.
I can't remember if we just
muscle memory.
Yeah. So I used to hang out with a legend named Earl Thomas Conley.
Oh my gosh.
He used to tell me this story about he said, now son, I started having hit songs the day this happened. He said, I'd be standing on the stage singing, and all of a sudden I'd be out in the audience watching myself. And I'd be like, whoa, that's weird.
What kind of drugs were you doing?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think that kind of happened. Although I didn't feel like I was watching myself, I do feel like it's so, sometimes the memory's there, and if you just kind of just sing.
Get out of your head.
Yep. Yeah. It'll just happen, and then you're like, whoa, like when you're driving sometimes, it seems to me sometimes
you
fall asleep. You're like, did I just...
Yeah, have I been through that part? Right. Yeah, that part of the trip, you've done it a million times, right?
Yeah.
No, I did the same thing. When I was in high school, I dated a girl that lived 30 or 40 miles away. I finally had to go out of state to find one that would have me.
Yeah.
But no, I would be coming home late at night, and I'd go through this little old burg called Sterling, and there was nothing there but a little old store. But I'd get to the highway 39, which was to go to my house, and I'd go, did I go through Sterling? I don't remember going through Sterling, which is scary, right? At times, but I never did run off the road, and so. But anyway, I always made it home safe. Anyway, well, thank you so much. That was cool. So let's talk. I mean, you guys had a great career, and then something really amazing happened with Dean Dillon, right?
Yes.
2024. You met him somewhere. Or you were on the same?
We were playing a show together in Colorado. It was a benefit concert for some firefighters who had lost their lives in forest fighting.
Right.
Out there. Anyway, Dean was on the bill with a bunch of other artists. He was the only one we were super excited to meet. We got to go meet him backstage in his horse trailer that is kind of his tour bus. He pulls around in his dually.
Really?
And we just chatted with him for a minute. And he said, let's get together and write some songs when I get back to Nashville. And he actually followed through. We got together. We wrote a song called I Just Want to Go There and just formed a friendship. And now he's family. He calls us his sons.
Wow. We've probably written 30 songs with Dean.
Have you really? Mm-hmm. Well, I know this last album, right? Mm-hmm. The whole thing is all four of you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And Scotty Emmerich is on a couple of those. Scotty's just an incredible songwriter. If you haven't,
I have not met him. I would love to meet him.
He's on that list with Buddy and Marla and all them, and he's part of the Dean crew, but he's...
And we got 2 outside songs, but they're Dean songs. Right. That's the first time we've really had any, outside songs, I think.
Yeah.
There was one that I saw that you guys cut, and I'm trying to remember where it was. I'm going to look here if I thought I made notes, but somebody else wrote them. That you cut, and I swear I wrote it down, but I probably Craig and Jim.
Jim Collins.
You didn't know my love.
Oh, yeah. You don't know my love. That's right.
You don't
Jim
know my
Collins.
love. Yeah, Jim Collins and Craig
Wiseman.
Yeah. That was a single that you just released.
Yeah,
right,
it was just so it's crazy. The game has changed a lot. So we put that album out, at the beginning of last year. I think is when it was official. Right. 13 songs. That's an old school thinking.
We put it all out at once.
We put it out. We were excited.
Right. Not very many people do that anymore. It's a really they dribble it out. Mm-hmm. Well, and I think the explanation that's been told to me is that they feel like if you give them too much, they consume it all and then they move on to the next.
Sure.
But if they're waiting to hear what's coming next, they love this one. I listened to the whole album, obviously, but which I love the whole album. But as far as the singles go, so that's interesting.
Yeah, so we went on to then, since that album, we've put out You Don't Know My Love, And the next one that's coming after that is Don't Let the Gray Hair Fool You.
Yeah, I love that.
They're not even on the album.
No.
But it's interesting what you said about, I think the attention span of the consumer is getting shorter and shorter, and it was an album, and then it was an EP, then it was single songs, and now if you think about like TikTok and stuff, it's a chorus. Or a half of a chorus, and then they swipe.
You can't even do and we do a lot of social media stuff to help promote the podcast, right? Mm-hmm. But a story, if I do I'll introduce a new podcast. We do 3 a week, and so every day, like today at 1:00, I'll release a new one, Joe Leathers, and I will go do. Now on Facebook, I won't add the music, but on Instagram, I add some music. But if it puts it to your story,
15 seconds or something.
15 seconds or whatever. It just kills me because, and I'm trying to always figure out how to make this all fit. I need to have a social media person, really.
Yeah. So do we.
I almost need a team myself. Sure. We are the team.
Absolutely.
But we have a 25-year-old son that's way smarter than us, but
he's not interested in that.
Well, he lives in Ogden, and he's...
Or that alone, he's got that going against him. Ogden.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that he lives in Utah is 2 big strikes again. I have 2 sons that live in Utah. Yeah. But anyway, it's a challenge. And so, to listen to, and even me sometimes, to listen to, we've probably seen 400 live acts in the last year. Now, we didn't, over 120 interviews. So can you imagine all the other music that's gone on at those songwriter festivals or concerts that we didn't get to interview those other artists? So we've seen a lot of live music. So to try and remember all that, and then try and remember who wrote the songs and who, so there's...
It's the statistics of how many songs get uploaded every day onto all of these streaming platforms.
750,000
a day?
Yeah.
What?
Of songs?
Almost 1 million a day. Yeah.
Well,
so you think about like the competition is astronomical numbers of trying to stick out and compete, which is one of the things I feel like I love about where we are in our career. We were just visiting this local radio station. We talked a little bit about this. You have to get to a point, and I'm glad that we're at that point where you do it because you love it. And if you're singing for 2 or 3 people in a living room, that's great. We have a good time. Like you said, you mentioned we're having a fun time.
You guys, it was.
Would it be great to be in a stadium in front of 40,000 people? Absolutely. Do we still want to try to do that? Absolutely. But you have to get to a point where you're back to creating art. You're back to performing because you love it. Because really, again, the astronomical numbers are insane. Yeah, so we're getting the eye that we got to go do this meet and greet thing out there.
Yeah, she's kind of a slave driver.
Sure.
And we try and keep ours. Well, I told her. I told all of you an hour.
Yeah, for sure.
We're at 46 minutes.
There you go. We got time. There you go.
No, you know what? It's a challenge because once again, even to get somebody to listen to a podcast for more than 30 minutes is a challenge.
Sure.
And so we always try and encourage everybody to stay to the end because they usually have everybody play the song at the end.
Okay.
And before we get out here, if you play me another one, that'd be awesome.
Sure, absolutely.
But we're just thrilled that we get the chance to sit down and share your music because I've known about duets for a long time, but got to be honest with you, wasn't on my radar.
Sure.
And so but now you're on my radar. Now you're on my Spotify playlist, right? And we will share this. What we try and do now too is something I started just this week is to do an artist feature every day.
Oh, that's cool.
To go back and share and say, oh, by the way, this is duets. They were episode number 126 or whatever it is, right?
Go check them out.
And go check them out.
Yeah.
And just to remind people of what goes on. Because we're building, we believe it or not, we're building a pretty big catalog of
podcasts,
interviews, so that people can go back. You can watch those anytime.
Well, and I think I love what you're doing too, because like you just playing that scenario out. Me as a consumer, if I see that, hey, this is some new music, go listen to the podcast. And now I can meet the guys, hear some stories, hear them talk.
Right.
All of a sudden, the music to me seems to connect more if I know more about it. I can hear music just by itself and go, yeah, that's pretty cool. But then all of a sudden you start hearing like that's what you're saying about the songwriter things. I love hearing a guy tell a story and then go and launch into some song. You're like, oh my gosh, I love that song now because
Yeah.
you heard the story. So I love connecting.
It makes it human, right?
Yes.
And it brings the human side of things into the story. And I'll have people tell me, they go, Byron, I don't know those guys you interviewed. Right. I go, no, but you know their songs, right?
Yeah.
Or you now, I've introduced you to them. Go listen to their music, and become a fan,
right?
Because that little girl we interviewed, Marla Cannon, set us up with Scout Spear. There's a girl that is going places, I think.
And you get to know her in those moments, and then the music means more.
Well, and she sent me a text the other day. She goes, "Hey Byron, I finally got my band put together. If you can find a place for us to come play, or some artists to open for in the West, we'd love to come west."
Yeah, we'll give you that same plea. If you can get us a gig, please do.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, this has been fun. Play us one more song.
Yeah.
Should we do the first one we wrote with Dean?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brad mentioned we met him in his horse trailer, and he said, "Let's get together in Nashville." And right when we get back, he followed up. We showed up over there at Horry Pro, went into this iconic office of this iconic, legendary Dean Dillon. We were scared to death, shaking in our boots, and he ran his fingers through his mustache like he does, looked out the window for a little bit, and we started grooving on this song. And this was
I remember too, because it was a pinch me moment just to be in the same room with him.
Yeah.
But he goes, "Boys, I've been thinking about you and your harmonies."
Yeah.
I go,
Dean
it blew
Dillon.
my mind.
Yeah.
Thinking that Dean Dillon was thinking about me for 1 second.
Yeah.
My group.
That brought the nervous factor down for me.
It did.
Yeah.
He's a genuine fan and friend and family member at this point. We've helped him move, and he and his sweet wife, and we've stayed with him. You mentioned Key West. We've been down there multiple times with him. His Colorado house. He's just a great guy, and I love that. Actually, that's probably my biggest claim to fame, is the fact that I get to just be friends with him and pretty much family with him. Writing songs with him is a bonus. But yeah, this was the very first song that came out that day, and it's one of our favorites, I think, that we've ever written.
Awesome.
It's called I Just Want to Go There. 2, 3, 4.
Didn't tell him where we were going. Didn't want anybody knowing about our weekend. Just threw our clothes in the car. The secret was ours for the keeping. Stumbled on a cool little place miles away from the interstate, outside some no-name town. Set it down and got around to me and you. And we got so high on a love that came to life right out of nowhere. I just wanna go there. Walk down by the water's edge about the time that golden sunset in your eyes. Built a fire to keep us warm. Talked about the normal things in our crazy love. No one knew about you and I. Hell, it even took us by surprise when we fell so hard. And those 3 days made it clear, just as sure as we are laying here, it was meant to be. And we got so high on a love that came to life right out of nowhere. I just wanna go there. We can leave tonight. Well, it might be hard to find it, but I don't care. I just wanna go there. Didn't tell them where we were going. Didn't want anybody knowing about our weekend. I just wanna go there. Walk down by the water's edge about the time that golden sunset in your eyes. I just wanna go there.
Oh man, if that ain't a hit, I don't know what is, boys.
Thank you.
That is beautiful, beautiful. Has it been released?
Yeah.
It has.
Awesome.
No,
and
not,
it's
not
called
like
I Don't Want to Go
I
There.
just wanna go there.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow. Hey guys, thank you again so very
Thank
much.
you, Byron.
This has been a blast.
Thank you.
Before we get out of here, I'll give you all. I don't have a business card. We have stickers
Oh,
with
very
QR
cool.
codes.
Sweet.
So if you will,
Love that.
go on there and reach out to us, and my phone number's on there. So
Cool.
and it's on every podcast at the bottom because we're
that's
always
smart.
looking for sponsors.
Yeah,
Just like
that's-
you guys are looking for gigs, we're looking for sponsors. But
Perfect.
anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Byron.
And thanks to Teton Guitar.
Yes.
You know, that's what this is all about, right?
Absolutely.
These guys have been so great to us. So thank you, Teton Guitars, and
Yeah.
and thank you, Miss Shanda. And we will get that done as soon as we're done here.
Yeah.
We will have these guys sign this other guitar. But for Musical Miles Podcast, I'm your host, Byron Duff, and we look forward to seeing you somewhere down the road with Due West. Adios for now.
Sweet.